My yentas, my boos, my girls, how I have missed the lovely ladies on The View. Been quite a while since we have talked about the worst show on television. During the month of August every year, our favorite feminists, they go on their annual summer sabbatical. Now, when normal people take time off of work, they usually go on vacation. Maybe a trip to the beach, a trip to the mountains. Perhaps you take your kids to the zoo so they can see their favorite animal identifiers. But sabbaticals for the beauties on The View, they're a bit different. Now, as you guys know, the whoopee cushion, she utilizes her sabbatical to top off her gas tank. She can't produce that powerful boodle breeze without top shelf methane. Big Red Joy Behar, she spends her sabbatical in physical therapy, making sure her shoulders are in prime condition for another season of balancing her supersized dome. AFG, the Great Pretender, Alyssa the Farrah Griffin, and my favorite yenta, Asuncion. They spent their time in the cosmetic wing at Woke Memorial Hospital, eliminating those pesky wrinkles. Now, even though the ladies were very busy last month, it is apparent that they made the time to spend Sunday mornings at Woke United Methodist because they all returned from their sabbatical with their emotions easily triggered. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel in the description below. Now, for those that don't know, I am doing shorter videos on the second channel on topics that we don't get to on the main channel. I appreciate all of you guys who have already subscribed. If you haven't, click the link in the description below and go on over there and check it out. Yesterday, I was talking to one of my friends. We've known each other for 25, maybe 30 years. He's a successful coach. He's got a lot of experience dealing with parents and kids. We were talking about this overwhelming softness of what seems to be a growing segment of the population. We were talking about how you're not allowed to be tough on kids nowadays because they could be emotionally triggered. How you got to be extremely careful because you don't know who is dealing or labeled with what. When we were growing up, if the football coach yelled at you and you started crying, your ass was off the team. Today, kid starts crying, the coach gets reprimanded. 20 years ago, grown men who refused to work for a living, they were called bums. Grown men who refused to provide for their wife and kids, they were called deadbeats. Today, they get labeled with some previously unknown condition. Oh, he's not a bum, he's got a condition. I have diagnosed him with LAZY. I have prescribed this placebo that should give him enough drive and ambition to wipe his own boodle. It seems like we are surrounded by emotion, out of control emotion. It seems like we are surrounded by people who look for anything to trigger their feelings. A simple like on a social media post, that is enough to cause outrage. Couple of weeks ago, Taylor Swift endorses Cam Harris. She tells her following of lonely women who proudly refer to themselves as mops, "Look at me, I'm a Swiftie, yippee!" Yeah, look at you. No self-respecting man will come near you. Woohoo! Caitlin Clark likes the post, and it creates an absolute shitstorm on social media. Now, me personally, I question her decision based purely from a business perspective. Caitlin Clark is the only star in the WNBA. Well, what about Angel Reese? Like I said, Caitlin Clark is the only star in the WNBA. We have seen what happens to the drawing power of star athletes when they alienate half of their fan base. But from a personal standpoint, Caitlin Clark, she is entitled to support whoever the hell she wants. Throughout all the criticism that Caitlin Clark received, I don't remember seeing a single allegation of mythical racism. I didn't see anyone in conservative media charge Caitlin Clark with a violation of the woke commandments. Now, of course, none of us would because we don't abide by the woke commandments, but you get the point. So, I'm incredibly confused as to why my favorite beauty on The View, Asuncion, filed formal charges against the underboss of the Mahomes Mafia, Britt Mahomes. Sometime between the first attempt on the Trumper and the second attempt, the Mahomes underboss, she liked a tweet that was sent by Trump on social media. If I remember correctly, I think it was the Orange Man's plan for America in his second term if he gets elected. It was nothing out of the ordinary. The plan was filled with common sense solutions like stopping the bruising of the caboose at the southern border, lowering taxes, creating these things called jobs that parishioners at Woke United Methodist seem to be allergic to, controlling inflation, lowering the price of groceries, especially oranges. As you guys know, orange, that is the Trumper's favorite fruit. Now, unfortunately for Donnie Lemon, I don't remember seeing anything in the plan that promised to lower the price of lemons. I guess he will have to continue playing with his own. Brittany Mahomes, she saw the Trumpers' plan for America. She liked the plan, so she liked the tweet, which probably speaks to the maturation of Brittany Mahomes. As you get older, and especially as you start making money, you come to the realization that deacons at Woke United Methodist are full of shit. I was explaining this to my stepdaughter last night. There's a reason that the deacons try to indoctrinate people when they are young. They're easily influenced. Once you get older and more experienced, you are less likely to allow yourself to be injected with the woke fungus. Now, to her credit, Brittany Mahomes, she seems to have matured in other areas too. I can't think of the last time that she made a fool of herself at a Chiefs game. Her outburst on social media, they seem to be happening with less frequency. I guess the same can be said for Jackie Mahomes. We rarely hear anything from the dancing queen anymore. Maybe it's maturity, maybe it's them getting older, or maybe Patrick Mahomes told them he was cutting off access to the teat of the family cash cow. Either way, their behavior has drastically improved. But according to Asuncion, this is not a sign of maturity. Liking a social media post from Donald Trump, that is not Brittany Mahomes expressing her right to support the candidate of her choosing. No, 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 no! According to Sun Hostin, that simple like, it is very dangerous, it's problematic. Britt Mahomes is in clear violation of the first woke commandment. Thou shalt not commit mythical racism. Now, you're probably wondering, how is liking a social media post that outlined a plan for America considered racist? I'll let Sun Hostin attempt to explain her logic. Watch for yourself.
Since she is in an interracial marriage, she should have known that to support a racist is problematic. Her children are biracial, and her family is one of the families that in the 70s could not have lived in any of Donald Trump's buildings. Maybe she's just not that politically savvy, or maybe she's just not read in.
Granted,
but it's
all we know is that she liked a Trump post. We don't know. She hasn't stated that she supported him, but that's fair to interpret that she may have, but we don't know that she's a supporter.
First of all, the great pretender Alyssa the Farrah Griffin, she is absolutely useless on this show. She is supposed to be the pretend conservative. She is supposed to be the Yenta that portrays herself as normal. There are so many ways Alyssa Farrah Griffin could have responded to this toxic mouth fart from Sun Hostin that polluted the air in the studio. This should have been so simple. Why don't we start with, Asuncion, please explain to me how Brittany Mahomes is racist because she supports Donald Trump. According to Sun Hostin, Britt has been convicted of mythical racism because she is married to a biracial man. Let me make sure I'm understanding this woke logic correctly. According to Sun Hostin, black men and black women, they have got to support Cam Harris. Not only that, if you happen to be married to a black man or woman, if you happen to be related, if you happen to be friends, you are also required to support Cam Harris. At the same time, you have to accuse the Trumper of being a threat to democracy, which is ironic because pressuring people to support a political candidate based on race, that seems like a threat to democracy. Sun Hostin also claimed, again, that Donald Trump is a racist. Now, of course, Sun fails to provide proof of these baseless claims. Why let that pesky thing called proof get in the way of pushing the agenda? This is the exact rhetoric that the woke media is accusing Donald Trump of pushing, while they are the ones that are guilty of doing this the most. This is also the reason that people are starting to treat the mainstream media like shit. Last night, the Trumper, he held a rally in Uniondale, which I believe is on Long Island. I know for a fact that Uniondale's part of New Woke City. ABC, they attended the rally in another attempt to provide heavily biased coverage. And I say attempt because ABC was rapidly removed by supporters of Donald Trump. Watch for yourself. People are fed up. The average American no longer has any tolerance for the mainstream media. The media has been exposed, and they did this to themselves. We talked about this a little bit yesterday on the second channel, how the mainstream media lives in this bubble, and they think the rest of the country thinks like they do, when the reality is that couldn't be further from the truth. They know they are losing this election. Well, Casey, that's not true. Most polls have Cam Harris ahead of the Trumper. I'm sure they do. Guess who is conducting most of those polls? The media. If you don't believe the garbage they present on television, why in the hell would you trust a poll conducted by ABC or the New York Times? Anyway, give me your thoughts on this. Sun Hostin accuses Brittany Mahomes of mythical racism because she likes a social media post from Donald Trump. Days after the second attack on the Trumper, Sun Hostin decides to call Donald Trump a racist. As a result of the debate, along with ABC continuing to broadcast this garbage known as The View, which is the absolute worst show on television, Trump supporters in New York City, they tell ABC that they are not welcome at Trump's rally. Have enough people come to the realization that the woke media is full of shit? Is the media losing their influence? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.